Oh, hey. Hey, Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, y'all thought I was done, right? Oh, y'all thought I was done. Oh, I ain't posted a video a while about y'all. Oh, y'all thought I was done, right? It's all in jest. But yes, this is a JW video. So, we're going to discuss some things. Y'all see my bangs and my new setup? What? Yeah, I got a new setup, which is basically the other side of my bedroom. Anyway, I'm the infamous Kiki. I am a entrepreneur, mother. I've been in the Wall Street Journal. I'm an award-winning artist. You'll see some of my awards peeking out back here. Y'all just don't know what kind of setup I got. I would not even explain it to you behind the scenes. Like, if I tell you what's going on with this, y'all would be like, what? But anyway, I'm also a former Jehovah's Witness. I have not done a JW video in a while because, you know, I ain't really been feeling it in my spirit. I ain't really been feeling it lately. But, and plus, there hasn't been too much news in the JWs. But I did see something. There is a YouTube channel called, I'm looking at my phone right here. There's a YouTube channel called that I watch all the time. It's called XJW Critical Thinker, and I'm sure a lot of you XJWs know who runs this channel. JT and what, Lady D. Anyway, I've been watching them for like 6-7 months now, and they are. I always try to give love to all my African American XJW YouTubers out there because I some kind of feel like our voices aren't really heard a lot, like we're not really that popular. Yeah, I'm trying to change that. You know, I'm trying to change that. Y'all see me dancing. Y'all try to. Anyway, like again, I always try to keep it light and keep it fun because when it comes to the JW stuff, please watch my other videos. I'm gonna post my other videos at the end of this video. You will see the other videos that I've had made telling my story because I don't really have the skin in the game like other people do. My slant is going on religion, period. But I do post my experiences, my thoughts, and revelations over the past year because a lot of things I didn't know what was going on with the Australian Commission and none of that. And like I said, I'm not going to get into that because I've talked about that in my other videos as to why I do these videos and why I'm here. I'm not really here to convert anybody. I'm just really kind of here to talk to other XJWs and get their opinion and shoot the gift the gab. Well, XJW Critical Thinker has a YouTube video called "Is the Watchtower Desperate for Leadership?" And they posted this very, very interesting thing about announcements and reminders for July that they you know, they got that secret knowledge. They got that inside. I don't have that inside. I don't know anybody in the organization to get this information. So you YouTubers and you find people out there, you have to share information with me because I don't know. I don't be knowing nobody at Jehovah's Witness. That they're for elders. And I'm reading this off of their YouTube channel. I'll put links to their YouTube channel. It says, assisting young brothers to make spiritual progress. For several years, the governing body has emphasized the importance of assisting young brothers to qualify for congregation responsibilities. Now, pause. I haven't been at Jehovah's Witness in a long time, but is that how that goes? Y'all let me know, because I don't know. I mean, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, it was definitely not like that, and I'll get into that later. This continues to be an urgent need. It has been observed that in some congregations, few baptized brothers in their late teens and early 20s are reaching out to serve as pioneers and ministerial servants. In some lands, okay, what? In some lands, who wrote this? In some lands? Okay, in some countries maybe? In some lands, relatively few brothers are applying to attend the School for Kingdom Evangelizers, to serve at Bethel, or to assist in Kingdom Hall construction and maintenance. On the other hand, qualified young brothers in some congregations have been held back simply because of their age. Therefore, the governing body requests that all bodies of elders worldwide give priority to helping young brothers grow in their relationship with Jehovah and qualify for congregation responsibilities. I can't talk today, y'all. And then they give a bunch of scriptures. And elders should regularly discuss spiritual goals with young brothers. That's basically it. I read that word for word off XJW Critical Thinker off of their YouTube, and what they posted a picture of it. And like I said, I'll leave links so you can go look at it yourself. Now, first, my experience as a Jehovah's Witness, back in the 90s, I don't know how they do things today. It may have changed a little bit. I don't know. But I remember specifically, maybe it was my congregation. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I went to Kingdom Hall in the suburbs, in a rich suburb, a suburb of Dallas. I remember not a whole bunch, but several younger brothers who wanted more responsibility, who wanted to be elders. And some of them had to leave the congregation because they felt like there was no opportunity. At my old congregation, I won't say the name of it, but maybe no, I'm not going to say the name. But my experience was there was 3 or 4 elders that were probably in their 60s that had been there a long time, probably since the Kingdom Hall was even built or the congregation was formed. They had been there like 30 years, right? And I remember that they were like the gatekeepers. Like, it was so bad. Like, the nepotism, if you don't know what nepotism means, basically like giving jobs to people that you know and like and related to. These elders' sons were ministerial servants, and they gave talks, and they held microphones. Like, they were always the first ones picked. And at the time when I was going to the Kingdom Hall, I was 13, 14 years old. And it didn't really dawn on me that, brother such and such a son, he's the elder, and he's a ministerial servant, and he was kind of young. And then there were some other people that were older than him that were passed over. I just remember there would just be a lot of brothers that were just passed over because they felt like they were too young. And then I remember some of them were married, and their young wives would complain, like, off on the side, like at gatherings, they'd be like, well, maybe it's not my husband's time, and Jehovah's gonna let us know when it's time. And again, at that age, I didn't think anything of it. So reading these things on YouTube, it really had my mind, my wheels turning, because it had me think back to, that was, the spiel was, in Jehovah's time, and then we need older men in the congregation to lead us. And I agree to some of that, because you don't want a 25-year-old sitting in a judicial committee. It's like, no, and they're younger than you, and they're talking about different things of what you did. And that would be awkward. That would be awkward. But I just like to speak on the fact that a lot of people were passed over. A lot of young brothers were passed over, that were sitting there basically anxiously waiting their turn. They were told, you need to wait your turn. You need to let Jehovah guide and then the circuit overseer would come, and he would basically like agree with them. And so they were able to pass out literature and carry microphones and give a talk here and, give a talk or whatever. Even some of the ministerial servants, like, they weren't really showing up in the congregation. They didn't seem like they had a zeal, if you would say, for Jehovah. They didn't have that zeal. Like, and then I think that, like, well, maybe they felt pushed down or passed over for so long. And like I said, a lot of it had to do with age. Some of it had to do with age, because they were in their 20s, but there were certain ones that to me, maybe there was things going on in their background behind the scenes that I didn't know about, but to me, they seemed like there's a particular brother that was a good speaker. His family were Jehovah's Witnesses. He seemed like he was doing good, but this brother would constantly be passed over for things. I don't know whether it was the race thing, because in these kingdom halls and congregations, as much as enlightened Jehovah's Witnesses say that they are, and in some levels they are, but still you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with human beings with biases and prejudices, And I can do a whole nother video on that, the things that I've seen and didn't notice, but now I understand and notice. And other things that other black former elders or brothers have said, you know, when you're in a congregation, when there's not that much diversity in the congregation, how they've been passed over for assignments and responsibilities. But I remember a particular brother, he was very good out in field service, and he had a lot of zeal. He seemed very zealous. Like I said, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but his parents, they had came from somewhere else, and they moved in our congregation, and they were there for a couple of years. And I think the dad, he was an elder at the former congregation, and I always thought that was weird that the dad was an elder somewhere else, and I just assumed that when you were elder at this congregation over here and you move, you automatically become an elder at your new congregation. But apparently I've learned since then that that's not how this works. But they didn't need any more elders at my congregation. So, you know, they didn't need any more elders. And so I just remember this brother just being young in his 20s, and he was unmarried, and he was just passed over all the time. And then, you know, his mother would say that he was frustrated. Like, we would have gatherings, you know, with the sisters, and she was like, oh, he's frustrated, but I told him he need to be patient, and it's all in due time. You know, the same robotic spiel that they always give when something go wrong, that we just got to let Jehovah guide you, blah, 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 whatever. But I just remember him I just couldn't understand that he was such a good speaker. And you had people up there that are not good speakers. You had people up there that just like, rah, 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 and you're just sitting there like you about to fall asleep, because they were not good speakers. But they had talks, they had roles in the congregation, and a lot of it was because they was such and such son or such and such nephew, or their daughter was married to such and such. So it was very like, it was on some Game of Thrones type shit at my congregation. It was like House of the Dragon type shit. Like, it really was. Like, it was just very interesting. Like, and like I said, seeing things now, and then me thinking back to what has happened, I'm like, okay, you know, maybe these young brothers want more responsibility, but then the older ones are not giving them responsibility. So that's one option. The other thing I noticed about reading all that is, like, now people are going to be pressuring these brothers, pressuring them to take more responsibility, because the other part of it is that, like XJW Critical Thinker was saying, there was a lot of apathy. Like, there was just some young people, young brothers, men and women, sisters and brothers, who were just happy to go to the meetings, happy to associate, happy to kind of pioneer maybe, and that was about it. Like, that's just what they wanted to do. They didn't want to be a ministerial servant. They didn't want to go to Bethel. They didn't want to have extra responsibilities. They saw what their dads were trying to do, or brothers or grandparents, and they just was like, no, I don't want to get. They didn't want to get burnt out, or they felt like, you know, that was too much too soon for their age, and maybe they'll pick it up in their 30s and 40s when they're married and settled and had kids and more time. But I just know, you know, with young folks, there was just like apathy. They wanted to do what young folks do, right? And which just have freedom, you know, watch football on a Sunday. You know, it's bad enough, you know, you had to go to meetings three times a week, and then go out and field service on the weekends. They didn't want to have come in there and clean the Kingdom Hall and do the maintenance, and you know, they talked about that in that message, talking about I guess they don't have enough volunteers to come build the big mega million television studio. I guess they're not getting enough people. So, you know, like, the government body is dropping a hammer on them. The government body like, look, we need more young people. And then, you know, everything that's going on in the past two years now around the world with the and then, you know, you have people who are leaving who are not showing up to Zoom meetings, who are not going back to the Kingdom Halls. So I think this is just a shots fired situation where they are trying to corral the young people, which they'd never done that before. Maybe if they've started doing this 30, 40 years ago, maybe they would have kept the young people in. Or maybe if they started doing this even 10 years ago, maybe you're more apt to keep the young people. Because from what I know, and the numbers and the things that I've seen and read, that the young folks is leaving. And this is not just saying Jehovah's Witnesses. This is worldwide with Christianity. People are leaving the church. People are tired of the nonsense. People are tired of shenanigans. There are people going to church just because they're going to socialize. They're going to find a husband or a wife. They're not serious about religion and God and none of this stuff. And people are seeing that the church has not changed their lives, is not doing anything. So people are seeking out African spirituality. People are going back to a naturalist form, which I highly applaud. People are seeking a lot of the old ways. People are leaving religion, period, becoming atheists. People are believing in nothing or something. People are discovering and trying to find spirituality within themselves and on their own. And a lot of these young people, especially with the internet, are really going about and trying to find their own way. And so I applaud that. But the idea that now, after all these years, that the governing body is like, well, we need to involve young people more. You think the next thing you know, we're going to see a thing talking about they need to involve women. Like, I think that's the next evolution, because once you understand that, like, these young people falling off, male and female, this is not the 50s and the 60s. With so much distractions, social media and TV and Netflix and everything with the internet, everything that's going on, you have to keep these young people engaged if you're talking about religion. And to me, the Jehovah's Witnesses, unlike a lot of other religions, at least they try to have youth groups, and they try to have a youth pastor, and they try to keep kids at different stages of ages involved in the church. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, for some reason, when the organization was formed back in the 40s and 50s, they tried to set themselves apart from other churches so much that they actually went backwards in their thinking and backwards in how they do things. But now, modern age is really starting to catch up to them, and you can't keep isolating young people. You can't keep telling them, okay, we can't associate with people at school. And then you have some congregations that don't have no young people, so you need to associate with the older ones. That's why I was told, well, you can associate with the older ones. I was 13, 14 years old. I don't want to associate with a 30 or 40-year-old. What am I going to have in common with that person? I want to talk about young people stuff with young people. And so you have these congregations that don't have any young people. Then you have these older elders who are stopping the younger ones from progressing because they don't want to give up their position, and they don't want to share, they want to be the top dogs and be the gatekeepers. There's a lot of gatekeeping in some of these congregations. And so they don't like brother so-and-so or brother so-and-so's dad or brother so-and-so's uncle, so they're not going to appoint them. A lot of personal feelings is getting in the way of any organization. I mean, that's just human beings. It's just humanity. I don't care if you claim to worship God or Christ or whatever God is, or you, Muhammad. When you're dealing with human beings are petty. They can be really catty and petty. And that's how it is. But the idea that, that you've had an organization that's not done anything for young people really, and then also they're supposed to stay in this organization. I said it back in the 90s. I was like, that, like I said, it was one of the reasons that I left, because I'm like, you're not really doing anything to help the people in the congregation. There are people who are mentally ill in the congregation. There are people that were elderly and needed help. There are people that were poor and struggling and they needed help. There was nothing really set up in the organization of the Jehovah's Witness, unlike other religions, to really pass out coats to their, members. Pass out turkeys. I know Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate any holidays, but pass out food. Have a collection for brother such and such or sister such and such that may have lost their job, may have struggled. It just, being a Jehovah's Witness was a very isolating, lonely religion where, if you didn't know the right people or talk or be friends with the right people or have a bunch of friends or your family wasn't in it, if you had that familial backing and friendship backing, you've been raised in this, then you have more entrenched. But for somebody coming from the outside, somebody who came as a Bible study or married into it, or their kids, married into it. It was very isolating, and I didn't think it was very friendly or very welcoming, or people would love bomb you in the beginning, but when it came to like real life stuff that you're going through, you're struggling with, if it's spiritual needs, you can plop in front of an elder and you're struggling with sin or pornea or whatever. Yes, you can sit up there and do your confessional, like, oh my God, I've sinned. But when it came to like, I'm doing good in the congregation. I really need some help here. Some congregations I've heard where they help people, but again, I was a member of 4 different congregations in the Dallas area, and I always felt like an outsider. Like I said, maybe that's just my experience, maybe because I didn't have family in it, but I always felt like I was an outsider. I never really felt like I was truly a part of the congregation. It's just like, it was like me by myself and the person who I studied with. And, but again, it can't just be me, because I've heard people who were born and raised in it that felt isolated, that felt like, okay, I have a hard time making friends and I'm introverted, and, people, you have a more reserved personality, and they have had problems and struggled making friends and struggled with keeping up being a witness with all the pressure and the stress it is of being a witness. But then on top of that, now they want you to take more responsibilities as a young person, and it's like, okay, well, I guess. But I find that fascinating. I just wanted to share it with you guys. I'll share with you guys that I'm not done with the Jehovah's Witness thing. Anytime I find something interesting, I've observed many other things. I tell stories. I have many stories of my years of being a Jehovah's Witness, or observations. But I just wanted to speak on that, and just, how they're trying to really get those young ones in. Come on, y'all got to build these kingdom halls and do all this. You can't be sitting at home playing your Xbox or your PlayStation. Oh, Lord have mercy. Like, it's funny to me. I just feel bad for anybody who's in this religion and unhappy. If you're in this religion and you're happy, don't pay no mind to Kiki. I'm just poking at you a little bit, and I do this to all religions. It's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. All these religions is problematic, okay? You got whole religions where they have people out there spitting on people out there bathing naked women. I'm watching on YouTube like this, like mouth open and aghast, that people let people get away with this madness in the name of religion. And there's a bunch of religions out there misleading people and telling people, and their parishioners are dying left and right. Like, y'all keep listening to them preachers. Yep, you keep on. Like, these preachers who have no degree in health anything, but you just keep listening to them, and then watch your grandmama just pass away, and just, grandmama, you okay? Grandma, oh, yeah, okay. While they make y'all sit up in these churches and think that they're all suddenly, the Lord is just going to miraculously heal you while you sitting in the ICU on your deathbed. Just saying. I'm just saying that it's not about going in on you, Jehovah's Witness. If you're happy with the religion, if you are well adjusted and say, that's not my experience, that's you. For those of you who left, who are not happy, who are pimo, pumu, pompoop, you know what I'm talking about, then, just watch my videos, subscribe, like, share, comment below whether you agree or disagree. I don't care whether y'all be trying to get at me, because I know y'all got some witness apologists out there, or current witnesses who get on YouTube. You shouldn't even be YouTube anyway. You are Jehovah's Witness on YouTube looking at this video. You should not be on YouTube. Sir, I'm gonna find out what congregation. Sir, ma'am, I'm gonna find out what congregation you go to, and I'm gonna turn your ass in. Okay? I'll be like, they on YouTube commenting on my videos. They shouldn't be watching apostate. You shouldn't be watching apostate shit. Turning you in. Not really. I don't care. Anyway, so y'all have a great, wonderful Thursday. Leading on to the weekend. I'll be back with more videos. Y'all have a good day. Peace.